أشار توم ريتش أول وزير للأمن القومي الأمريكي في كلمته في المؤتمر الذي عقد بقاعة كندي التاريخية في مجلس الشيوخ الأمريكي، أشار إلى خلفية ظهور التطرف الإسلامي في المنطقة تزامنا مع مجيء خميني إلى سدة الحكم عام 1979، معتبرا تنفيذ أعمال الدجل والإرهاب من قبل حكومة الملالي مثل عملية أخذ الرهائن في السفارة الأمريكية في طهران وزرع القنبلة في مقر المشاة البحرية الأمريكية في لبنان بأنها منعطف في نمو الإسلام المتشدد.
Senator Liebman mentioned that the capital of the terrorism is Tehran, but they also are the central bank for terrorism. And unfortunately, we're going to make a huge deposit, maybe about $100 billion. And think about this for a moment. It is no secret. So from that moment in 1979 through today, if you're looking for that nation, that group that have stirred that cauldron of unrest, and now it's turned into this medieval barbarism as manifested in ISIS, I think you go back to 1979, the first Ayatollah in the storming of our embassy. And what have they wrought? They have wrought not only the unrest in that region, but they have wrought the global scourge. And I believe we are kidding ourselves in this country if we don't go back to 1979 and understand that the seeds of Islamic radicalism was sown right there. And 35 years later, those seeds have resulted not just in terrorism in that region, but these fundamentalists, this Islamic terrorism, the fundamentalists, these radical Islamicists throughout the globe. And make no mistake about it, they're not just limited to the Middle East and North Africa. They've spread into South America. They're just about every continent.
وتابع أول وزير للأمن القومي في أمريكا في كلمته في اجتماع مجلس الشيوخ الأمريكي بالتفصيل الشرح حول نبذة عن تعهدات أمريكا لحماية الأشرفيين قائلا:
Because when America made a promise in 2004 to protect and defend these people, it wasn't a Republican promise, it wasn't a Democrat promise. We had a general hand these individuals a piece of paper and say, you have our word, you've surrendered your weapons, you have promised to provide you security and safety. We haven't kept that promise for 10 years. And I don't care whether you're Republican or Democrat, the coin of the realm in the world of politics, in your personal world and in our world and on this hill is your word. And if you can't keep your word, how do you keep your friends? How can you be trusted? 10 years later, I will just flat tell you that the State Department and the United Nations lied repeatedly to Republicans and Democrats, military leaders, diplomatic leaders, and political leaders and law enforcement leaders throughout the entire time we were moving these people from Ashraf to Liberty. Just flat out made very specific statements. Said we will do A, B, C, and we're still waiting for any of those to be done. So I'm not looking for language in a committee report. I want a director, maybe with some money tied to it, to the State Department and to the to DOD to say, you expand that air cover from Baghdad Airport, it's just a couple clicks away, to Camp Liberty. Just expand it. That would be a signal to the Iraqi government, but more importantly to Rouhani and the mullahs, we're serious about, at this time, we are finally serious about keeping our promise, in spite of the fact that during the time we were supposed to keep our promise, we've had 140 murdered and hundreds killed. You people live, I think our friend Mayor Giuliani said it quite some time ago, it bears repeating. We moved them from a place with at least a liberal, habitable environment almost into a concentration camp. They had to rebuild the entire infrastructure so they have basically decent shelter. And we continue to fight to give them defensible shelter, all in contradiction to the promises that were made to us years ago when we said they'd move. Why are they subject to constant attack, constant intimidation, constant threat, constant pressure, slow roll by my country, the United States of America, being ignored by the United Nations? Is there the most significant, legitimate, organized opposition to the mullahs and Rouhani. And as long as they exist, and as long as they talk about a free, tolerant, diverse Iran, as long as they talk about a non-nuclear Iran, really perhaps a nuclear Iran for peaceful uses, but not an armed nuclear state, as long as they exist, as long as they project that profile, as long as they are doing what they have done for over a decade, is celebrate the richness of the culture and the history of Persia and the Iranian people, but say, this is not who we are, this is not what we stand for. As long as they survive and protest the medieval treatment of fellow Iranian citizens inside Iran today, eye gouging, amputation, public hangings, imprisonment. As long as they are led by Madame Rajavi and continue to advocate her 10-point plan, as long as all these extraordinary dimensions and characteristics of this resolute, relentless resistance, they will be a threat. I think it's about time we kept a resolution we made 10 years ago to these good people. We'll provide for your safety and security, and we'll expedite your. We have to secure their presence. And I think one of the most important signals we can send to Tehran is build that air cover. Let's build that air cover. And let's do it with Republican and Democrat support. Thank you very much.